this is my first time trying to film a video in my new house. I haven't moved all my stuff over yet, so kind of working with like bare bones like materials here. Like I only have a couple decks on me, and I don't have like, you know, like my normal filming stuff. And I'm trying to figure out a new filming space. So kind of back to square one again, but I think it's gonna end up being a lot better. My apartment had a lot of noise on the street, and so I think this is going to end up being a lot better. I just have to figure out the best place to film, lighting, sound, background noise, all of that stuff. I'm like with 2 dogs now and another cat. I'll include some pictures of the new kitty too, so you can see her. She's super cute. And then of course like Gracie's adjusting as well. So anyway, I'm gonna be doing a future spouse reading today, and I've been looking at some of y'all's suggestions that you put on the community board. So today we're gonna do falling in love with your future spouse. I'm gonna try to incorporate some of the topics that I saw on that community post that were suggested. And yeah, we're just gonna be very like free-flowing today, nice, easy. We're just gonna see where the reading takes us, and yeah, nothing super structured today. I think it'll be a nice way to get back into the swing of filming. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. We're gonna be shuffling on camera, and yeah, let's get started. Hey group 1, welcome to your reading. So we're just gonna find out, falling in love with your future spouse, what do we need to know? Group 1, a big thank you to my guides and your guides for coordinating these messages. Group 1, let's see. And we'll do all uprights today so we can get some clear, concise messages. Let's just see, we're taking it easy today. Group 1, we have the Emperor to start, and we also have the King of Cups here. I really miss having a blanket. I think I'm gonna order a blanket because I like, I don't know, a softer surface when I'm shuffling. Let's see, group 1. Aw, the 6 of Cups, the Star, and the 9 of Wands. Oh, this is very sweet. And your bottom of the deck here is the Wheel of Fortune. And I really like to see this because there's a sense of inevitability here. And so if you're watching this reading and maybe you've been feeling like a little bit stressed about your love life, or maybe there's like a little speck of doubt in your mind, like, will I ever meet someone that I would be happy to marry, that it feels right? You know, is that something that I'm actually going to experience? Or maybe you've had a divorce in your past, or you've had significant heartbreak in your past, or maybe you come from a family where there's not a lot of great examples of a long-lasting, supportive, healthy relationship. You know, maybe you come from a family where people don't get married, or there's a lot of instability in relationships in general, whether they're romantic or just family relationships. And so you haven't had like a great example of that, or maybe you come from a family where there's a lot of divorce, a lot of endings. And so for whatever reason, like all of you have different histories here, right? It is a general reading, but I think Spirit just kind of wants to set the tone like right away in your reading, that just because that's been like a trend in your past, or a trend in your family's history, or you just have this sort of, you know, view of marriage where you're like, is that something that's really gonna happen for me? And if it does happen for me, is it gonna last? But there's a sense of inevitability here, like this is going to happen for you. It is meant to happen for you, and it's going to be a relationship. Given that we have the 6 of Cups kind of like at the heart of your reading here, like I like how it's in the dead center. This is it, you know, like it is going to be a very sweet relationship where there's reciprocity, there's mutual feelings, there's mutual effort. You know, it doesn't feel imbalanced, or it doesn't feel like there are these like petty power struggle, you know, playing games kind of thing. It feels like Regina Spektor's song Samson, where she says like, I loved you first, you were my sweetest downfall. Like it's falling in love, but it's like a gentle falling, you know, it's like It's not, you know how in the tarot, if you're someone who watches a lot of tarot readings, you know that the Fool card in the major arcana is typically associated with like new love, right? And like leaping off a cliff, taking that leap of faith. It doesn't feel like that for your connection with your future spouse. It feels just like a gentle falling. Like, yes, you're falling in love, but it's like falling back into bed. Like, you know, like it's like a soft landing is what I'm trying to say. You know, there's nothing scary about like falling backwards into bed, right? Like, and ignore like my silly analogy here, but there's nothing scary about that, right? Because your bed is there. You know you're not gonna fall on the floor. Like, it's gonna be all right. That's kind of how it feels, right? It just feels very soft, very easy, and it feels like, I guess, like the most natural thing in the world. Like, imagine if you were just put on this planet and you didn't know anything at all about seasons. And when winter, like, imagine like winter coming and how scary that would be. Like, okay, all the leaves are falling off of the trees now. That's bizarre. It's getting really cold. That's bizarre. What is this white stuff falling from the sky now? Like, what is snow? Like, it would be really scary, right? And you would be like, how am I gonna survive this, right? Whereas, obviously, like, we're all very familiar with seasons. We know what those are. So it's kind of like that, like, it just feels very natural. It feels very organic. It feels just like, almost like we've done this before. So you may share past lives with this person. It may be like a feeling of deja vu, like, have I met you before? So that could be like a little hint if you're single. If you meet someone where there is that kind of strange feeling of, have I met this person before? Or conversation just easily flows with this person, you don't have to try. It feels like there's a real sense of friendship here. But there's also this kind of energy of like wanting to take care of each other, wanting to show up for each other. And so I like too that you have the Emperor and the King of Cups here, because it really feels like in this connection you have that emotional depth, but you also have like that practical action. With the Knight of Wands here at the end, it's like, I've waited so long, like I've been through so much kind of energy, where now that I've met this person, and it's a mutual feeling, like there's a lot of mirroring going on here. Like, you know, now that I've met you, I'm not gonna waste or squander this opportunity. I'm gonna give it all that I have, and I'm gonna make it work. And it does feel like there might be some like challenges, or there might be some things to overcome. Like, maybe this person is long distance, or maybe there's just some extenuating factors that complicate things. But even with that being the case, it feels like nothing is insurmountable. Like, you guys will make it work. And it's almost like, weirdly, that becomes a blessing, because it shows you early on how committed they are, and it gives you an opportunity to express your commitment to them as well. And so I feel like that's why we were getting kind of this energy of knowing early on that this was something that was gonna last, because you both have like a chance, kind of orchestrated by the universe here, to show the other person that you are serious, that you are committed. So it doesn't feel like there's like a long guessing game here, or it doesn't feel like manipulative in any sort of way. It just feels, again, like an easy sort of organic process. And yeah, you two both putting in a lot of mutual effort. I don't know if your love language is acts of service, or if that's their love language, but it feels like if it's theirs, it's like that's how they like to express love. Like, they like to do practical things for the person that they care about. But with the King of Cups also being here, it also feels like words of affirmation is also a thing, because someone here is a little bit poetic, or if not poetic, they just say really sweet, sentimental things. And it's there's something about someone's energy here, and I don't know if this is you or them or both of you, but it's sort of an energy of like, wow, this person is really endearing. This person's really soft-hearted. This person is really sweet. It feels very sweet between you two. With the Emperor here, though, there is definitely like passion. Like, don't think there's like a lack of passion, but it's almost like because there's this like sweet, easy dynamic, you feel safe with them and they feel able to be open with you. And so because of that, like, there's not as much awkwardness as there can be with like physical intimacy in the beginning. It's like the passion is more easily expressed. I'm trying to say this in a very PG way. It's more easily expressed because there's just this natural understanding between you two and just feeling comfortable, I think. And with the Star card, I mean, it really does feel like, you know, you both wished for this. You both were patient. You know, you both like hoped and prayed and like, you know, you didn't settle. You didn't settle. And I think it's paying off for sure. Let's get some more information about this. Like, how will you feel about them in the beginning? Maybe it's sort of like your first impression, or just how do those like initial encounters with each other go from your perspective? I want to get your perspective on this and then we'll shift over to theirs, okay? But first we'll start with you, group 1. And I'm sorry if you're hearing any background noise right now. Group 1. Enlightenment. This is actually the Judgment card in this deck. And we have the 6 of Swords. That's really beautiful to see. That's extremely beautiful to see. Yeah, so this is confirming to me that for a lot of you, you've had a history of heartbreak or just disappointments or not feeling safe. And so that feeling of like a lack of safety, maybe because you were cheated on in the past, or you were lied to, betrayed in some way, like, you know, that rug being pulled out from under you kind of feeling, like you thought things were going one way and then someone just flips the script on you. You know, someone was wearing a false mask kind of thing. And it may be issues from childhood for others of you. But anyway, your first like initial impressions, I think at the start it's a little bit difficult for you to like fully embrace or fully accept that this is your person, because it's almost like you're just going with the flow. You're just going with it and wanting to see where it goes, and you kind of just sink into this, like you kind of just sort of like gently again fall in love with them. But it's almost like that little voice in the back of your head that's saying, be careful, be cautious, remember what happened before. That voice just kind of over time gets quieter and quieter and quieter. And you going with the flow, I think, and just seeing how it plays out is a really nice approach for you, given what you've experienced in the past. And so this is like your good karma. This is your ship coming in. This is, you know, your wish fulfillment kind of moment. And you deserve this. You deserve an authentic, loving, supportive, genuine person in your life. And so, you know, I just think it's hard for you to trust it because of what's happened in the past. But I don't think that's hindering you. I want to be clear about that. I actually think it's to your benefit because you're not putting a ton of expectations on this or forcing things or trying to put this on a certain timeline. You're just going with it. You're just seeing how it goes. And that's, you know, I think having this sort of imagery here of like the ship and the boat and the water, like you're just sort of gently going with the flow, downstream, falling in love. Like it just feels like a gentle boat ride. I'm sorry, like I'm using like so many like metaphors or whatever today, but yeah, I mean, it feels very easy. It feels very easy. And you know, I like especially here like the imagery on this card, with the way that this kind of I don't know, just like this swirling thing here. I don't know if it's meant to be like a cloth or wind or what it's supposed to be, but the way it's enveloping this little ghost and the way its eyes are closed and it's just getting lost in the music, I like that for you, because I feel like when you're with this person, remember how I said that little nagging voice in the back of your head saying, be careful, remember what happened last time? Or even like a negative self-critic saying like, this person's gonna leave you, you're not good enough, you know, if that's like an issue for you, that voice just gets quieter and quieter, and you're very present with this person. Like if you're usually in your head a lot, I think that would be an indicator that you've met your future spouse, because with this person, you're able to be present and not in your head like you usually are. And yeah, I think you being able to key into the present moment and just enjoy it and just get lost in that, I think will be a huge indicator that you have met the one. Okay, from their perspective, how do they feel about your initial encounters, their initial impression of you, that sort of thing? Let's just get some information on their perspective. And like I said, we're leaving this reading really open. Like whatever Spirit wants to say is what we'll let come through. And that's too many cards. I want just like one or two more cards, please, Spirit. Clear, concise messages, please, Spirit. Aw, yeah. This is really sweet. This person will have a lot of patience with you. I feel like they have a real understanding that you're someone who's been hurt, and that you have sort of like just this, even if you have a tough outer shell, even if that's the case for some of you, you're still at your core like a sweet, gentle soul. And I feel like they want to show you that they have good intentions, and they want to show you that they're not like the people of your past. And they're just really, really wanting to show you that they're willing to put in the effort. You know, like with my current partner, like I remember telling him, because he would say certain things, and I remember telling him like, we'll see, you know, because, you know, I've been made a lot of promises in my life that haven't panned out. And I think it has created a dynamic with me where I don't really go by what people say anymore. I go by their actions. And so he like understood that. He wasn't offended. He was like, okay, like I look forward to showing you then. And that was just that. And I kind of feel like maybe there's a little bit of a similar dynamic here for you all where, you know, it's hard for you to trust pretty words. You know, it's hard for you to trust the promises that people make because you're used to people not honoring their word or their commitment, or just misrepresenting themselves, you know, that false mask we were talking about before. And so I feel like, you know, with your future spouse, they have a lot of patience with that, and they're just willing to put in the work, willing to put in the effort, willing to be patient, willing to slowly let you reveal yourself. Because with the moon here, it's like you may be just holding back a bit in terms of like emotional vulnerability or discussing your past and all of that. And so it's like they are just so in awe of you, and they're just willing to wait for you to open up. You know, they're not forcing you to talk about things that you're not ready to talk about. They're not trying to rush you. I feel like they're very much willing to go at your pace with things. And I feel like as well, you know what it is, and I'm trying to put this into words as best as I can. They have this feeling towards you. It may be sort of like a love at first sight for them kind of thing, but it's like this gravitational pull. Like the water can't help but respond to the moon kind of thing. So for them, like they're very certain about you, whereas I feel like for you, it's not that you don't feel what they feel, it's that you're not allowing yourself to fully give into that feeling because of that voice in the back of your head, which has a lot to do with your past and nothing to do with them. And so I feel like you may be taking it slow and they're responding to you. And so I feel like in terms of the pacing of this, like how this is gonna go, it's very much dictated by your comfort level. Because I feel like they feel this certainty about you in their bones, like they just know that you're the one very soon. Whereas with you, it's not that you don't feel it, but you can't be open to that, or you wouldn't admit that, or you wouldn't say that. So I definitely feel like they will be the first to say I love you, or the first to say like, what are we doing here? Like, you know, that kind of thing. But I feel like if you were to say like, hey, like, can we slow things down? Or if they just picked up on like your body language, you know, that things were moving too fast kind of thing, they would slow it down. Because it feels very much like they're very respectful towards you in that way. And also I feel like your person is typically someone who is very like career oriented, someone who's really ambitious, someone who tends to be quite busy. Whereas like with you, it's sort of like, you know that you're a priority because they still put you first, and they're willing to sort of maybe not drop everything else, but sort of like rearrange everything to make space for you in their life. And I think that means a lot to you, to be valued in that way. Can we get just some general messages, I guess, about like your overall love story with this person? So yeah, I definitely think they would say I love you first. I feel like this, yeah, the Knight of Swords, yeah, they definitely are a smooth talker, which may be why you're like a little bit suspicious, because they can be so romantic and just say everything that you've ever wanted to hear. And if you've had a lot of conflict in your past, you know, romantically or just in like your interpersonal connections, that could make you a bit apprehensive. Like, are they just a smooth talker? Are they being genuine? Do they really mean this kind of thing? With the Six of Pentacles, I feel like in terms of like your dating, I feel like things would be really balanced between you two. Like, it wouldn't be, you know, like they're the only ones planning dates, or one person is always paying for the date, or you know, one person is always reaching out to the other. Like, it feels very balanced, you know, like both of you are planning dates, both of you are making time for each other, both of you are buying each other like little gifts and things like that. Like, it just feels very balanced. Both of you are, you know, just putting in that effort, showing that you care, showing that you're invested. Yeah, that Queen of Swords, this may be you, group one. This is air sign energy, so Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini energy, but you don't have to be any of those signs. I feel like this is just signifying what we were kind of picking up on about you may being a little bit more guarded, a little bit more emotionally reserved because of your past. And with that Ace of Wands kind of peeking out there, I feel like, you know, if you've been really guarded with your heart, it's like here they come, lighting a fire within you and sparking that passion. And so then we have the Queen of Cups as the bottom of the deck. So it's like they are awakening this side to you that's kind of been laying dormant. You know, maybe you haven't let that side of yourself free in a minute. And so they're like coming through and awakening a softer, more feminine, and you don't have to be a woman watching this. We all have like feminine and masculine qualities, right? But they're awakening that feminine side to you, that softer, sweeter side to you, and that go with the flow, receptive energy too. That's very divine feminine energy. And so we were talking a lot about you kind of letting go of control, going with the flow, and it feeling like a gentle fall into love, right? And so that's very like Queen of Cups. And I feel like they just make you feel really safe and secure and comfortable, but also there's an element here of like excitement and adventure and actually being excited about the unknown and being excited about your plans with this person and building a life together. Yeah, it feels kind of like you get the best of both worlds with this person. Like you get the comfort and the security, but you also get the excitement and the passion. And instead of those being like opposing forces, it's like that safety that you feel with them only heightens the passion because you feel comfortable and open enough with them to let your guard down, if that makes sense. Okay, I actually just want to get a little bit more information on your future spouse's personality, if we can talk a little bit more about that. Group 1, what is their personality like for their future spouse? Group 1. We have fertility here with the watermelon. I feel like your future spouse is someone who is, like we were talking about before, like very goal oriented. Like they're very focused on the future and what sort of life they want to create with you. And so there's a real energy here of like, let's grow together, let's build together. And so I feel like your future spouse is definitely like, they're not really like a lazy person. Like they have dreams, they have ambitions, they have things that they want to do, and they know what they want. And they're not an indecisive, wishy-washy kind of person. And it may take you by surprise how open and honest and kind of blunt they are about what they want and what their expectations are, and in terms of like romantically. And yeah, they're just very kind of straightforward about it, and they're quite confident. And I also feel like there's an element to them, like, yeah, they have like these goals, these ambitions. They know the shape that they want their life to take. And you would think that would make them like a serious person, but actually they're very funny and they're very sort of lighthearted. And I do think they have a more optimistic outlook on life, for sure. Not a lot really phases them with victory. Yeah, like they're a successful person, and I think it has a lot to do with their tenacity, their resiliency, their attitude about life, you know? This isn't someone who complains all the time. This isn't someone who gets down. You know, like they bounce back. Yeah, and nothing is more important to them than their peace. You know, that they want a peaceful, easy kind of relationship. You know, they don't want a lot of discord. They don't want a lot of arguments. They don't want a lot of friction, you know? I think this is the type of person that laughs off a lot of stuff, you know? They don't harbor a grudge. They don't hold on to anger. They're quick to forgive, and that may create some problems for them sometimes with people like taking advantage of them, but they're the kind of person where they'll forgive you, but that doesn't necessarily mean like you're getting a second chance with me. It's like, I see who you are, I forgive you, I let it go, but I don't necessarily know if I want you close to me again. Like that's kind of their attitude, if that makes sense. But I do think sometimes they can occasionally give people the benefit of the doubt too much. I will say that. Emotion. I think that one of the things you're really going to appreciate about your future spouse is the way that they calm you down. Like if you're really, really upset, I feel like they just have this way of restoring you to equilibrium, like just restoring peace. And you know, that may be an individual kind of thing here because this is a general reading, but if you're someone, like if you're really upset and you appreciate someone who can make you laugh, or maybe you appreciate someone who will just hold you and be there for you. Or maybe you appreciate someone who is going to be like a shoulder to cry on, or someone who's going to give you great advice. It kind of depends upon your personality and how you need someone to show up for you when you're upset. But however that looks like to you, that's how this person will be. Like maybe you're someone who needs a lot of space when you're upset. This person will naturally understand that. So just apply that how it resonates, because that is a more specific message. I'm also seeing a lot of repeating 4s here. So I feel like, again, like this person creates a sense of stability for you. And there's definitely a feeling here of just them knowing that you're the one. I'm thinking of like the 4 of Wands in tarot. Like they just know that you're the one for them quite early into the connection. We have refinement and purification, and again, like more 4s. And listen, like I've been using this deck a lot, so it's not like it hasn't been shuffled quite frequently here. And I like how it feels like a steady building of this connection, like brick by brick, where creating something that's gonna last. And not every marriage lasts, so it's good to see all of these 4s because it's indicating that you will have a lasting marriage. I have to throw that out there, like divorce does happen, separation does happen. And do you feel like there's a quality of like sophistication to this person at times? They may come from like a wealthier background, or they feel more comfortable in those spaces, or they have expensive taste, I'm hearing, or they appreciate luxury, that kind of thing. We have productivity as the bottom of the deck. So yeah, like they have a strong work ethic. I don't feel like they're a workaholic, but they may just like work smarter, not harder kind of thing. But they are successful for sure. They're not like living in their mom's basement kind of thing. No offense to anybody who's living in their mom's basement, but anyway. Yeah, I also feel like with purification here, like there's a purity to the way this person speaks. This is someone who means what they say and does what they say they're gonna do, like this person is true to their word, and they keep their promises, and they don't speak carelessly. And I think that's something that you're really, really going to appreciate about this person. Let's just get some major themes in your connection. Like, what are some major themes of your relationship with them, your marriage? What are some major themes? We have imagination. We have fertility twice now. So if you're wanting children, I feel like that's a really good sign that you're going to have a really great family life with this person. They're going to be a great parent. If you want to have, like fur babies, you will have, like a little pack of dogs or cats or like whatever. But I just feel like with fertility here, like a happy home life. And you may start a business with this person. Like if you're not someone who is interested in having children, you could be growing a business together as well. But it may just be that you guys really, because you're so supportive of one another and so encouraging and just provide that kind of safe, supportive environment, it's like you could just be helping each other pursue your individual goals. And so you could find you become more successful just being with this person because they're so supportive. Like there's just this energy of like, we are one another's biggest fans. Like there's no like weird competitiveness here. Like we genuinely want to see the other person succeed. So like if you're a woman watching this and you end up, like, let's just say, for example, making more money than your husband's not going to feel emasculated by that. He's going to be like, you go girl, like that, or you go woman, that kind of thing. Just throwing out an example, but yeah, it could be indicating that as well. With imagination, I love to see that card, especially next to fertility, because it's like, you two are going to create a life together that is so much better than what you could currently envision. And I just love that. I love that so much. Like you're going to have sorry, that was just my hand. You're gonna have a really abundant future together. And we have glamour here. I feel like this person may help you heal, and this may be like a mutual thing. You know, this could be, you know, like a mirroring kind of thing here, but I feel like they're gonna help you heal any sort of like physical insecurity that you have about your appearance. You know, like if there's something, and this may be a more specific message, but if there is something you struggle with in that regard, or something that makes you feel insecure in relationships, they're gonna be a very healing, they're gonna have a very healing effect on you, I guess. And then good cheer. That's pretty self-explanatory, but I feel like you're gonna laugh a lot with this person, you know? And it's so cool that your bottom of the deck is divine guidance, and you'll remember you got the Wheel of Fortune as your bottom of the deck in the very beginning. So it's like, this is a fated connection. It was meant to be. You were meant to meet this person. You know, like, again, there's an inevitability to this. And so, like, again, like, if you're worried that it's never gonna happen for you, or you're worried that if you know this person now that they don't feel the same way, that they aren't committed kind of thing, like they are. And with good cheer, again, like just good conversations, good times, lots of happy memories. And I feel like you two really value and appreciate the time that you spend together. And so there's definitely an emphasis on like quality time, and understanding that that time that you put into spending together is time invested into the longevity of your connection. You know, it's like if you don't water a plant, it's not gonna grow. And so like you guys understand that a key aspect to this marriage or this connection lasting is the time that you spend together, the effort that you put in, and both of you have an understanding of that, which is really positive. Okay, I'm actually gonna go back to this original deck that we were using and just get some final thoughts. Is there anything that group one should know before they meet their future spouse or before they get married? Anything that group one should know? We have the Three of Pentacles. We have the Seven of Pentacles. We have Justice. We have the Five of Pentacles with the Page of Cups. Oh, I love this. I love this. Okay, and your bottom of the deck is the Ten of Pentacles. How perfect is this? Okay, so for you all, I think that Spirit really wants to underscore here that this person's going to come into your life when, if you haven't met them yet, they're gonna come into your life at a time when you may feel isolated, lonely, like you are just with these sort of like emotionally shallow people, or people who cannot reciprocate your energy, and just like this need to understand that. And I may have like referenced this quote before, but I think it's a Warsaw Shire quote. If I've got the person wrong, I apologize, but there's this saying where it goes, there's nothing wrong with the quality of your love, but rather the quality of the people that you're trying to love. Like, there's nothing wrong with how deeply and how honestly and openly you love. It's just that you're giving that love to people who, for whatever reason, cannot or will not reciprocate. And just to again understand that just because you've known this before doesn't mean it will always be that way. There are people with justice here who are willing to match your energy. And people who are willing to put in the effort. And I guess just understand, like, be patient with yourself. The way that your future spouse is going to be patient with you, be patient with yourself as well. You know, like if those old fears, old insecurities, old wounds kind of get triggered throughout this process, just understand that that's just part of being human, and it's okay. And I think also just understanding how much potential you two have to grow together. Like, I feel like there's something about this connection that is tied up into your career or your professional life or your financial stability in some way. There's definitely an up-leveling in your financial status and your stability, your financial security as a result of meeting this person. It really feels like they're your biggest cheerleader. Like, they just really, really support you, and they want to see you succeed, and they want to see you grow. And I feel like as well, you know, if you're wanting to become a parent, just have patience with that. Like, it is going to happen for you, and you're going to have just a really beautiful, happy home and family life, and it's going to happen when it's meant to happen. And you got fertility twice. So again, like, if you're really worried about that, really worried about, am I ever going to be able to have a child, have a family kind of thing, like, it is going to happen for you. Okay? All right, so group 1, this was your reading. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for your patience. I don't know what the audio is going to sound like. I don't know, you know, it's just going to be a process trying to figure out a new, like, filming setup. And yeah, anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you in my next one. Please take care, group 1. I'm wishing you the very, very best. Welcome to your reading. Hopefully there's not too much background noise. Like I said in the intro, I'm still trying to figure out the filming space, so I just want to go ahead and say a big thank you for y'all being patient with me while I figure it out. So anyway, group 2, your connection with your future spouse. What is it going to be like to fall in love with this person? Group 2, and a big thank you to my guides and your guides for coordinating these messages. Group 2, what's it going to be like when you fall in love with your future spouse? Group 2, and we'll take all uprights today. Clear, concise messages, please. Spirit, group 2. Let's see, we have this is kind of wild. To start off, like, we have all Cups cards. That's really cool. So we have the 6 of Cups, the Page of Cups, the King of Cups. Is your future spouse a water sign? Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, or maybe you are. They don't have to be, but I mean, there's a lot of water energy here. Let's just keep going and see what we have. We have the Queen of Wands, and we have here the 7 of Wands. Let's see. We have the Emperor as well. Okay, so now we have some fire sign energy, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. Okay, let's see. You know, with this connection, it feels very like this is one person and this is the other. And it wasn't like that at all in group 1, but I'm just feeling called to separate these two sides. So you can decide for yourself. I'm just gonna go on and say person A versus person B. So person A is gonna be this water sign side over here, and you can decide for yourself like which side you resonate the most with. But it feels like for one person's perspective, it's like falling head over heels in love. It feels like the full force of their emotions are just ooey gooey mushy. Like it feels like a kind of like rom-com kind of experience. Like I don't know if they would call it love at first sight, but it feels something very close to that. It feels maybe like soul recognition for them. It just feels like they're very open-hearted and they're very sweet and they're very just genuine when they speak, and they are not they may not be showing all of this to you, because it feels like there's a sense of hesitancy here, like, and this may be you, but it's almost like for person A, they may come across as very flirty and very fun and like this Page of Cups energy, but really there's so much depth there. It's like still waters run deep. Like they are coming off as like very flirtatious, and so it may feel like, okay, like are they serious? Is this just shallow for them? Are they just trying to have a good time with me? But beneath that, there's a real depth of feeling. And so this person may be like really comedic, really funny, really goofy, fun, lighthearted, but it doesn't mean that they lack emotional depth, and it doesn't mean that there's not a real authenticity to their emotions. And what they feel for you is real and honest and deep and true. And so with person A, like if that's your future spouse, just be aware of that. Like just because they're really funny and fun and lighthearted and they seem happy-go-lucky and they're very flirtatious doesn't mean that they're a player and they're just here for a fun time, not a long time kind of thing. And it does feel like from their perspective, like they would say like you're my soulmate kind of thing, or if that's not the kind of language that they use, they would say like I knew that you were the one, like very soon. Yeah. And I also feel like they're very, very much physically attracted to you. And you know, again, like if this is you, flip everything that I'm saying, because it is getting a little bit complicated for me. But person A, I keep forgetting to say, person A is going to feel like person B is the most like attractive person ever, but that doesn't mean that that's all that they care about. So just because person A is very physically attracted to person B doesn't mean that person A is superficial or shallow or doesn't appreciate other things about person B. It's just, yes, that is a big part of why they feel this onslaught of emotion or attraction, this connection. Sorry, the dog was growling at a delivery person. Okay, so for person B, from their perspective, I feel like person B is they're a little bit more closed off, and they're a bit more like, I'll believe it when I see it kind of thing, and they're a bit more like, put your money where your mouth is kind of thing. For person B, like, I don't feel like they're taking person A that seriously. At least in the very beginning, there's maybe a little bit of suspiciousness there. And it may be that person B is interpreting person A as just being interested in their physical body. That could be like part of it. But I feel like, you know, with person B, it's just sort of like, I'm hearing an uphill battle kind of thing. Like with person B, like you just gotta show them that you care. You just gotta put in the effort. Like you gotta play the long game with person B. Like person B is not won over by just nice words kind of thing. And I also feel like for person B, like they're very busy. They have a lot going on. And so person A is catching their eye, you know, like they are, I think, just as like physically attracted to person A as person A is to them. Like there's definitely a strong mutual physical attraction here, but it's almost like person B would rather stay busy, distract themselves with other things because they're not sure about person A in the very beginning, like if they're serious. So until they see that for themselves, and that's just a timing thing, it's just going to take time, they're not going to drop anything else they have going on to entertain this with person A kind of thing. Person B has like king, queen kind of energy. You know, that sort of like regal stereotype where they're like a little bit cold, a little bit reserved. But obviously beneath all of that is a lot of fire, and they're just as fun as person A, but it's like, I'm not gonna let my guard down or be as like fun as person A is until like I see that they're serious kind of thing. Okay. Any more sort of general thoughts about how this connection goes? Anything else we need to know about this dynamic between group 2 and their future spouse, please, Spirit? We have the Page of Wands. I love that. I love that. Because I feel like once you get over that initial hurdle with group B or person B being a bit standoffish, it's like once that wall comes down, you two have so much fun together. Like you two would be like the exciting couple, the couple that's always doing something really fun, really interesting, the couple that, you know, like gets out there and does stuff, like goes on trips, goes on vacations, travels together, or you guys just do kind of like off the wall kind of things. Like, you know, it's not like a standard movie dinner, you know, kind of dating. It's like you guys do interesting, fun activities together, and I feel like there's an energy here of like feeling like a kid again, feeling very free, feeling like yeah, you can just laugh and be silly with this person, and that being something really enjoyable. We have the Devil here. There's a lot of physical attraction. There is so much physical attraction. I feel like physical intimacy is going to be a really big part of this connection. For some of you, I feel like there's going to be a lot of like banter back and forth, especially with the Page of Swords being here. Like you really enjoy kind of like fussing with each other or joking around with each other, teasing each other, that kind of energy. Yeah, a lot of planning going into trips and things like that that you'll take together. Maybe both of you really want to travel. Yeah, I mean, Six of Swords, yeah, definitely a lot of travel. A lot of travel. And I think also, you know, for group B, like if they have experienced kind of like, I guess, like players in the past and that kind of thing, or just people who were like commitment phobic or had maybe like an avoidant attachment style kind of thing, I feel like it's going to be a real relief to be with someone who has like a secure attachment style, someone who isn't afraid of commitment. Okay. Trying to remember some of the questions I asked. Let's see, what about like saying I love you, or expressing a desire for like a higher level commitment. Like who kind of initiates that? How does that come to be? Can we get any sort of knowledge about that, Spirit? For group 2 and their future spouse. We have the Magician. I feel like this 3 of Pentacles is wanting to come out. I'm gonna get one more card. Oh, the 10 of Cups, so cute. Okay. So it could be that one of you sort of manifests this without necessarily like meaning to, but it feels like one of you is really, really hoping so badly that the other person is gonna say something. And I'll tell you what, person A, they have the 10 of Cups on their side. Person A is going to be the person who expresses feelings, says I love you, expresses a desire for marriage first. But person B was really, really hoping that person A was going to say something, and they do. And so it's, sorry, the dog is being like really loud. Thank you, buddy. Okay. Person B was really, really hoping that person A was going to say something. And all of that hope, all of that wishing actually ends up like manifesting it. But it's so cute because I feel like person B is just as much of a romantic as person A is, but they would never, ever admit it. Like I feel like person A is just lovey-dovey, and person B is just as much of like a ooey gooey, sweet kind of romantic person, but they just would never admit that. And I feel like person B like uses their work as a way to like distract themselves, or they just keep busy to distract themselves sometimes. They may play a little bit hard to get without even necessarily meaning to, but I feel like they just try to keep themselves busy so they don't get anxious or like hyper fixate on the connection early on. So they just like to kind of focus on like their finances, or focus on their friends, or maybe like side projects they have going on, or their hobbies, that kind of thing. But I feel like for person A, like it's no big deal. And it's kind of funny. It's like person A is willing to express a desire for a commitment. Person A is willing to say, I love you first. Person A wears their heart on their sleeve because to them, it's not a big deal. Like they're just an open-hearted person naturally. It's not a big deal for them to express their emotions. Whereas with person B, it's like they put all of this emphasis on it, but they would never admit that it was something that was important to them, even though it's almost like the most important thing. So it's an interesting dynamic here, and I hope I'm expressing it clearly. But person A, whether that's you or your future spouse, I don't know, but person A is the one that's willing to kind of step up and, you know, rip the Band-Aid off and say, like, this is how I feel. And of course, person A is super romantic, and, you know, so they're gonna do it and say it in a way that's very sweet and heartfelt. And yeah, I can't help but smile every time I kind of tap into person A's energy. They're just a sweetheart. They're such a sweetheart. Okay. Let's just get some information now on your future spouse's personality. You know, this may actually tell us like who is person A, who is person B, but I don't know. I won't say that. I'll just let you guys decide for yourselves. All right, your future spouse's personality. Group 2, what do we need to know about their personality? We have cleansing. They do have like a like a little Mr. Little Miss Sunshine, like happy-go-lucky kind of thing to them. I do feel like they kind of brighten up any space that they're in. I also feel like they can be really chatty. It's almost like they get more talkative if they're nervous. Like you would never you would never know when they're kind of anxious because they kind of talk to cover it up. I feel like they have a natural charm and charisma to them. They could come off really extroverted regardless of whether they are or not. I feel like they're really good with their words. They have a likable energy to them. I was actually like scrolling through like Instagram reels this morning, and it had one that was talking about a personality hire, like the person who gets hired based on their personality alone and not because of their employment history or their skill set, whatever. And I was like, man, I've definitely have been a personality hire before in my past. And you know, it's true though. I mean, some people, you know, they're just really, really likable, and they may not necessarily have the most experience or be the best at their job or whatever, but they add a lot of camaraderie, I guess, to the workplace. Like, they just are really likable to be around. And I feel like your future spouse has that kind of energy to them where they're just so likable. They almost can have like a chameleon kind of personality sometimes. Like, they just very easily adapt to their environment and their surroundings, so they get along with a lot of people. And I feel like it'll be a privilege to kind of know who this person is behind closed doors, kind of thing. Like, I'm not saying that they're fake or anything like that, but I just feel like they're very charming. And when you get to know them on a deeper level and you kind of see them past that charm, you know, like to who they are at their core, and not when they're being kind of the shiny, likable version of themselves and they're just being their authentic self. I think it's going to be a real privilege to know who they are beyond the jokes and the charm and all that, you know. It's kind of reminding me of the romance book Love Theoretically, and I don't necessarily like recommend reading that book, but it does remind me of the protagonist in that novel, because she really adapts herself to whoever she is talking to, because she's a people pleaser, and that's just how she's always been. And so your person, you know, we have to balance out these readings, right? So they may have a tendency towards people pleasing. I feel like they just are very charming. They're very charismatic, and it's almost like an autopilot thing for them to do, to just kind of meld in with their surroundings, like that chameleon effect that we were talking about. Because they're very sociable and they're very good in group dynamics. And I feel like it serves them well in a lot of areas of their life, but it also means that not a lot of people know who they truly are beyond all of that charisma, okay? If that makes sense. But you will. You'll know who they truly are. Yeah, this person is like really, really attractive. And it's not just like their physical appearance. Again, it's that charm. And I feel like they're a really engaging person. They're really funny. They liven up a room, you know, they make people laugh. They bring energy into spaces. You know, they don't drain. They're not an energy vampire, you know, like they don't drain people. They, like, people walk away from interactions with them feeling better than before, you know, like they put people in a good mood. They make people laugh. They make people feel important. They make people feel valuable. They make people feel understood, heard. Like they just are really engaging. They liven up a space. They're the life of the party kind of thing. And then we have tranquility. And I love that. I love the balance here. I feel like there's something about them where you get that calmer side to them. You get that softer side to them that other people don't necessarily see. And wisdom, you know, like, I feel like you have to be smart to be funny. And I feel like this person is. And I feel like this person says a lot of really insightful things through humor. I feel like they're very, very wise. but people don't look at the class clown as being an intellectual, but I feel like they are. I feel like they're smarter and wiser than people give them credit for. You know, that's how they're able to be so funny. We have wholeness here. Wholeness. I actually want to clarify this one. Success. Yeah, I feel like this person feels most complete. They feel best about themselves when they feel like when they feel like they have accomplished something that they set out to do. I feel like, again, people may discount this person or think because they laugh and they have so much fun and they have this like really bright kind of sparkling kind of personality that doesn't mean that they can be serious or that they can invest in something or that they don't have like a good work ethic. People may call them the personality hire, but just because they have a great personality and that may have got their foot in the door in some aspects of their life, that doesn't mean that they can't surprise people and still show that they deserve kind of like their good luck. I feel like a lot of people say this person is lucky or they skate by a lot. You know how maybe when you were in school, there was the kid who would just wing it? Like they wouldn't study or they wouldn't prepare for a presentation. They would just kind of get up and talk and still they would get an A. It's like, and that's how your future spouse is. It may annoy people, but it's like you can't fault them for having this sort of innate skill. And just because it's the skill of communication and talking and relating to people doesn't mean that that wasn't something that came with practice as well. I feel like people don't understand the effort that they put into that, and people don't understand that that's something that's really valuable. Being able to talk and communicate with people effectively. So funny, I stumbled on my words there, right? Being able to communicate with people effectively is something that is really powerful and useful and something that does come with practice. And I feel like people may discount how far that can take you in life and how important that is, being able to relate and understand people. Okay, let's get some major themes now for your connection and your marriage, and that will wrap up the reading. All the animals in the house are sleeping right now. It's so cute. Okay. Group 2. We have strength here. I'd like to see this. You two are definitely stronger together than you are separated. And you know, it's nice to see that because not every marriage is a happy one, right? So I like to see that you two bring out the best in each other rather than emphasize the worst in each other. I love to see that. So you're stronger together than apart. And you know what? I really feel like part of this may be from the fact that you two may have like a opposites attract kind of thing. You two may have opposing strengths. Like what you're good at, they may be bad at, and what they're good at, you may be bad at. It may be that you two fill in each other's gaps, I guess. And then with sensuality, I'm not surprised at all to see this because like I said, you two, there's a lot of physical attractiveness here. And I feel like the physical intimacy is going to be a really big thing in your connection. And then we have passion. Say it once, say it twice. And then we have safe travel. Yeah, I really feel like you two are going to travel a lot together. And it may be that it's less about traveling and more that you guys will move somewhere new and build a home, build a life there. You know, if you're someone who's not really interested in traveling, it could be indicating that you're gonna move somewhere to be with them, or they're gonna move to be with you, or it's just gonna be, you know, like if this is a long distance thing, or it could just be that you two both decide to move somewhere new together, and it's like a fresh start, a new adventure, and that's where you build your life with them. So it could be that as well. Just take what resonates. But yeah, a lot of passion. Like I said, physical intimacy, say it once, say it twice. And then with safe travel too, and strength. Like I feel like you two just know that together you can overcome obstacles so much easier when you work as a team. And I feel like you two make a really great team. And I feel like there's a lot of mutual respect here. And I feel like that respect is something that's really, really important to both of you. I feel like a lot of people don't take your future spouse very seriously because of that charm and that charisma, and because they like to have fun and they're very adventurous and spontaneous. People may not take them seriously. People may read that as them being really flighty, but I feel like they really appreciate how you respect them and you see them for who they are beyond just their charming personality and their jokes. Okay. All right. So group 2, this was your reading. I hope it resonated and I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, I will see you all in my next one. I'm wishing you the very, very best. And yeah, please take care. Welcome to your reading. So we're going to do all uprights today. A big thank you to my guides and your guides for coordinating these messages. Let's go ahead and start off with falling in love with your future spouse. What will it be like? We'll just get some general messages to start us off. Group 3. How has the Six of Cups come up in every single reading? And I actually think it was the first card in group 2 as well, which is wild because I shuffled this a lot before, like in between each group. Okay, let's just see. We've got the Devil and the Sun. Okay, this is playing out differently, but I just think it's so cute that the Six of Cups came out in every group. We have Justice. We have the Page of Pentacles. And we'll get one more card and the Ace of Cups. So cute. Okay. This feels, this definitely feels more like a journey, I'll be honest, than group 1 and group 2. This in your bottom of the deck is Cozy, which is a card that just exists in this group. This deck. Really, this is super cute to see this. Sorry, I'm getting off track. I say this feels more like a journey because it feels like we go through all of this to get to the Ace of Cups. And so, like, I don't want to be discouraging in any sort of way, but it feels like this is more of a slow burn romance. You know, group 1, I feel like, had this like falling in love, love at first sight kind of energy. Group 2 was like, one side was like head over heels and the other side was more cautious. Your group feels more like we both need this to go slowly because of the devil here. Like with the 6 of Cups next to it, like both of us need this to go at a nice, slow, comfortable, cozy pace. Sorry about that. Both of you will create a cozy space together, I guess. But yeah, it feels like this could be like friends to lovers kind of thing. Like it feels like a slow burn. It feels like this happens gradually over time, like almost like it sneaks up on you, you know? You're getting to know them, they're getting to know you, you're enjoying the friendship, and then somewhere along the way it turns into a romantic connection without you even realizing it. Or it could even be that you two work together, and that's why it starts off as a slow thing, like Jim and Pam on The Office. Or it's reminding me of the book People We Meet on Vacation kind of thing. Like it just happens slowly over time. And I feel like that is something that's really going to benefit your marriage, something that's really going to benefit your relationship in the long run, because you guys have that solid foundation of friendship. You guys know each other really, really well, and there's a lot of depth here. And I feel like, you know, for whatever reason with this Devil card, some of you have like reservations about love, and I feel like it's a mutual thing with the 6 of Cups being next to it. Like both of you have similar fears that are kind of holding you back from like fully pursuing this in the beginning. But with the Sun being next to the Justice card, like this is going to be a really, really healthy relationship. But with the Page of Pentacles, it's going to build slowly over time. So you may know this person for a good bit before it actually becomes a romantic connection. Or you may have like a really long engagement before you actually get married. Or you may date for many years before you actually get married. So, you know, it's going to vary. But it's definitely going to be a slow burn romance. It's not going to be something that's immediately passionate, you know, like you're not going to bed with this person on the first date kind of thing. And it's not that, you know, there's anything wrong with that. It's just that that's not how it's going to go for you two. It's going to be something that you guys build up together. So it's going to be, and it may even take you a while to realize that you see this person beyond just a friend. And it may just be because of the Devil energy here, just like those reservations about being open to love in general. It doesn't mean you don't want a relationship or you don't want to get married, but more so you're probably scared for whatever reason. Like there's some fears there, there's some reservations there because, you know, of some kind of past hurt or wounds from your childhood. But it just feels like there's something holding both of you back from fully embracing this. And it may be because you work together, and that complicates things. I'm sorry if you hear the dog eating in the background. Usually, you know, I just had one pet, and now I've got 4. So there may just be a little bit more background noise. I apologize if you guys can hear that. But anyway, so yeah, this feels like a slow burn. I won't keep repeating myself. Let's get some more information about this, and then I want to know like who expresses feelings first, or like how does that come about? How does this go from like friends or coworkers to something romantic? Can we get more information about that journey, please, Spirit? Okay, cozy definitely was meant to come out. Let's continue. We have the 6 of Pentacles. Okay, this is telling me something right off the bat. It's like slowly both of you are inching towards this. It's a bunch of little moments. It's a bunch of little moments that kind of add up to something big. You know, it's like, and you may notice these little things and you may discredit them, but I feel like there's enough little moments that kind of add up over time to where both of you start to realize there's mutual feelings. And, you know, I say little moments, like maybe they brush up against your arm, you know, or like they make excuses to like touch you in like little ways, or they make excuses to spend more time with you, or they go out of their way to do nice things for you. Like, let's say this is like an office setting, okay? Let's say you guys are like Jim and Pam. Like, they make excuses to go by your desk more frequently than they really need to. Or they bring you a coffee, you know, or they remember little details about you. And that can always be a clue that someone's really into you when they remember little innocuous details about you that you don't even remember telling them, kind of thing. You know, like they remember your favorite color, they remember that you don't like ketchup, you know, that kind of thing. Just like little things, but it's a mutual thing, you know, like both of you are almost like slowly showing your hand. Both of you are like slowly revealing your true feelings for each other over time. But it does feel like both of you are like slow to figure this out, like how much you mean to each other. And I think it just may be that reservation, that fear around love. And some of you may not even be fully aware that you have these fears, but others of you may be very aware. But it doesn't feel like a fear of commitment, it just feels like a fear of getting hurt, is what it feels like. And I think also over time you're gonna realize how comfortable you feel with this person and how at ease you feel and how you can share things with them that you can't share with anybody else. And that's going to be a really big indicator that this person is your future spouse, is that you feel comfortable sharing things with them that you may not even feel comfortable sharing with like your closest friends and family, or things you've never told anyone. I feel like this Emperor wants to come out. I also think from like a practical perspective, this does feel like more like a practical group compared to group 1 and group 2. I feel like from a practical perspective, you're gonna be like, wow, like this person really ticks my boxes. Like this person, like y'all are the group to probably have like a checklist of like things that you want or certain expectations or standards that you have for a future romantic partner. And this person really is gonna tick your boxes. It does feel like, and this may be like a mutual thing, but like both of you want the same thing. Both of you have a similar vision for the future. Both of you have the same idea of like what a happy, healthy marriage, home life looks like, that kind of thing. So I feel like just from like a practical perspective, like it makes good sense for you to be with this person, and you're gonna start to realize that over time. Okay, let's get some more. I want to get more specific. I feel like Spirit is holding a little bit back from us here. Let's see, can we get some more specific marriages messages? I've been talking about marriage. We have the Chariot coming out. Whoa, we have the Knight of Cups. 2 cards fell on the floor here. We have the 7 of Cups and the World. Okay. This feels like, the way the cards came out, like this feels like the love confession. This feels like the moment that I've been trying to get at. Okay, there's gonna be some kind of event, some kind of circumstance, the kind of, you know, you two are kind of like, your connection is reading more like a story than the other 2 groups did. Like there's more of a clear narrative here, and it's like if your love story, like if we were reading your love story like a typical romance novel, this is kind of like the 3rd act where you two at this point should be together, but you're not yet together. And as the reader, we're like, get over yourselves. Say how you feel. It's obvious to everyone that you two should be together. What is the holdup? And it's like, this is where like the divine intervention comes into play, and there's going to be something that happens either in your life or in their life that kind of is like this point of reckoning, like the Chariot, like a decision has to be made. Seven of Cups, like, are you going to admit how you feel? Are you going to express how you feel? Or are you going to let this opportunity to have everything with the world pass you by? Like, are you going to overcome that fear and say how you feel? But with the Chariot, it's like both of you are tasked with this. Like, who's gonna be the first person to take this from a friendship to a romantic connection? From like a coworker, close friend, to, if it is a workplace romance. For some of you, I think it is, not for all of you, but who's gonna be that Knight of Cups? Who's gonna step up to the plate? I want to clarify the Knight of Cups, although if you're a Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, it might be you. But I want to clarify the Knight of Cups and see who's going to say it. The Star. Okay, if you're an Aquarius, it could be you. But with it being the Star, it may be a situation where one of you starts to say it, like one of you starts to maybe give like kind of like a speech, like a little build up before you say the words I love you, and then the other person kind of jumps in and says it. It really kind of feels like Spirit is saying, it's kind of a close call. It's like we stepped in and kind of put, with divine intervention, a little pressure on both of them. And it's kind of a really close race to who's actually going to say it. That may be why, like I said, Spirit's holding back, but I feel like they're kind of clarifying that and saying, you know, it's kind of a toss-up, because both of you at this stage have like very deep, true feelings for one another. Yeah. I'm kind of curious. I know it's going to vary for all of you, but it'll be kind of curious to see, like, what is that event that puts pressure on this, where you have to say how you feel. Yeah. Interesting. Like I said, and your bottom of the deck is the two of Swords, so yeah, I feel like it's too close to call. And then we have the Four of Wands, the marriage. How cute. How cute. I do feel like one, you know how, I'm sorry I keep referring to Jim and Pam, but I feel like your story is so similar to that. But remember, it kind of felt like, at least when I was watching that show, it felt like it took forever for them to become a couple, but then once they did, everything moved really quickly. It may be like that, like it's a slow burn to you actually becoming, you know, a romantic partnership, but once you do, you get engaged quickly, you start a family quickly, you move in together quickly, whatever. Like, it feels like once the ball gets rolling, it starts rolling. But it's like, we had to push that ball like all the way to the top of the hill, but once we have it up there and we give it a little bit more force, it just goes speeding down the other side. That's what it feels like. The connection gains a lot of momentum once you actually become boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. Okay. Let's get more into your future spouse's personality. Group 3. What do we need to know about Group 3's future spouse's personality? We have focus. I do feel like they get really single-minded about things. Like, they can get really fixated on something and they put their whole heart into it. They have things that they are so passionate about, like things that really light them up. And, you know, they may be like really quiet and reserved, but when they get to talking about something that they really care about, it's like that's when they open up. That's when they kind of bloom almost like before your eyes, you know, like you see a spark kind of lit within them when they're talking about something that they really, really care about. So they may come across as like more introverted, but once you start talking about something that they're really into, that's when they get, yeah, like super excitable. My boyfriend's like that. Like if you want to, like I've noticed, like if I want to get him like really, really talking, like if I start to ask him about like the games and stuff that he likes to play, that's when he gets, I don't know, it's like, that's when you can see, yeah, I guess like that spark that I was talking about, like they just get really passionate, like their eyes light up, you know, they become like more present. I just want like one card at a time. I don't know why I'm feeling called. I didn't feel that way about the other groups, but I'm hearing one card at a time, so that's what we'll do. We have communication here. I like the peas in a pod. I feel like this is saying like you two communicate in a way that's very similar, and honestly that may contribute to why this is a slow burn. Because if both of you are more reserved in your communication, especially when it comes to your emotions, that would explain a lot. Because in group 2, there was one person who was more emotionally reserved and another person who like wore their heart on their sleeve. So the person who wore their heart on their sleeve was like really pushing the connection forward. Whereas in your group, if both of you are holding back, communicating how you feel, both of you are more reserved in that way, that would explain why this builds slowly over time instead of the connection moving very fast, right? So you two communicate in a very similar way. And then we have divination. I do feel like this person is more intuitive than they realize. They're more intuitive than they realize. I feel like they second guess themselves a lot, which is really unfortunate. We have fertility here. I do feel like this person's gonna make a really great parent. There's something about them where they just like automatically seem like they would make a great mom or dad. Regardless of whether you want children, I just feel like they have a really like nurturing, caring side to them that just makes it seem like, yeah, they would make a great parent. We have hope here. I feel like this person, they're like an idealist or an optimist who would never admit it. Like they present themselves like a realist, but I feel like deep down they are a lot more of an idealist than they would ever really feel comfortable admitting. Like I feel like they just really try to see the bright side. They have I just feel like they have this inner light. They just have this side to them where they can be a little naive. And maybe that's why they're more cautious, they move more slowly, because they're aware of this aspect of themselves. That's interesting. We have agreement. I do feel like this person honors their commitments. Like that's a big deal to them. It's a big deal to them, and they're really careful about what they agree to. They're not flaky, you know. All right, sorry about that, guys. Okay, so personality. What were we talking about? There, I had a break in filming for a second there. They're a person that it's really important to them to honor what they say. And I feel like they are really careful about what they agree to. So they're not a people pleaser like group 2's future spouse was. Like your person, if they don't want to do something, they don't do it. Like they don't make an excuse about it or say that they're gonna do it and then flake out. They just are very open, like that's not something I'm interested in doing, and then they just don't do it. And so, you know, that may make them not the most popular person, but they are very honest and they're not a flake, you know, and if they don't want to do something or they're not interested in something, they don't pretend, they don't fake it, they don't, they're not afraid to just say like, yeah, I'm not really into doing that. I'm not really interested in that kind of thing. Okay, let's get one more card. And then we have stimulation. Yeah, I do feel like even though this is a slow burn romance, just know there is a physical attraction there. And you two are definitely very drawn to each other. I just think that both of you have a lot of fears around love, and it may be that you have the same fears, but I just think that neither one of you wants to get hurt, and it may just be that you value the friendship, or if you work together, you know, you don't want to have an awkward situation at your job if it doesn't work out, and so that may hold you guys back. I also feel like this card is also indicating what we were talking before about your future spouse just being someone who has things that they're super passionate about. So they may have like certain things that they're a fan of, that they're really into, or certain hobbies that mean a lot to them that they're really passionate about. So it feels more like a few things. Like it doesn't feel like they have a ton of hobbies or a ton of interests. It feels more like they have these, I'm hearing concentrated, like their focus, their attention is very concentrated on a few things. And so like they have certain things that they're really, really good at, that they really, really care a lot about. And that takes up a lot of their time versus them kind of spreading themselves thin. So for example, like if this person is a musician, the music is like a huge part of their life. Or if this person is a gamer, then that's a huge part of their life, that kind of thing. Something that they care a lot about, that they are very knowledgeable about. They're very skilled at it because they care so much about it. So there's something that they put a lot of, I'm hearing, a lot of heart into. Okay, what are going to be some major themes of your relationship, marriage with this person? Just major themes. And this will end your reading. Okay, we have peace. We have love. Believe it or not, this card didn't come up in any other group, so I feel like that's a, you guys kind of won that one. We have good cheer. Best possible decision. Okay, yeah, you guys kind of won. Your bottom of the deck is friendship. So yeah, definitely friends to lovers here, like we were picking up on before. So we have that confirmation. This is going to be the best possible decision you could make. So you picked a good one, right? So that speaks a lot to the longevity of your marriage. Like you picked the right person for you. They pick the right person for them. So it's good to see that. I also feel like you two are going to make really wise decisions together. So this could be indicating that, you know, when you go to buy a home together, or you decide where you're going to live, or, you know, those major life decisions you make as a couple, you're going to make them together as a team, and you're going to choose wisely, because I feel like, honestly, because both of you are very analytical and both of you are more on the cautious side, so you're going to make wise, informed decisions. Neither one of you seems like an impulsive, rash, reckless person, so it's good to see that. Good cheer. You're going to make a lot of really great memories together. I feel like you guys are going to reminisce a lot, especially as you grow older together. Like, remember when we did this? Remember when we did that? Love, I feel like that's just going to be something that doesn't really fade with time. You know, your love for each other is going to deepen. It's not going to grow stale, you know. Like, again, there's a lot of longevity to your marriage. And then with peace, I feel like it's just easy with you two. It's just easy. And not to say that you won't have your arguments or your challenges, but I think ultimately you both are willing to compromise, and I think both of you are super invested, you know, like there's a lot of time and effort that goes into building that friendship. So it's like you're not just lovers, you're also friends, and that I think makes a world of difference in your marriage, you know, like as you two grow older together. All right, so group 3, this was your reading. Thank you so much for letting me do this for you all. And yeah, I'm wishing you all the very best. I'll see you in my next one. Please take care.